My name is Bobby Umar, and I'm here with the amazing Brenda Meller. As always, Brenda, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I've got a dog in the background that went crazy just as we began our call. So I'm going to be like
No,
muting and unmuting until my son gets into the house, which is probably what she's barking at right now.
no worries. And I just want to wish you a happy post Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm sure I had pie. Did you have pie on this Canadian Thanksgiving, even though you're not Canadian?
I should have pie on every
I
Thanksgiving and
know.
every holiday. What kind of pie did you have, Bobby?
I'm an apple. Apple pie is my go-to. I think as long as I get ice cream. Although I do, and pecan pie I love, but it's really really sugary. And pumpkin pie I also love too. I think those are my three favorites. But apple's the go-to for sure.
It's got to be like homemade all the way. If you've ever had like a store baked pie that's like pre-canned pumpkin and pre-canned apple
Yeah.
and frozen crust versus homemade, that's the way you got to go.
Funny
Absolutely.
story. My father-in-law, he was a staunch bake from scratch kind of guy, and so he used to make all these pies for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, all that type of stuff. And I tried to make one with the shells. He's like, no self-respecting baker would do it that way, and he would do everything from scratch, and they were the most amazing pies ever. And so I hear you on that. It's actually it's really really important, but on to other things. This is our monthly chat where we talk about company pages. And so if you're listening on LinkedIn, we love to have you chat with us, talk to us, put your comments below, let us know where you're from, where you're listening in from. If you have a question about company pages, we're also going to do something fun today where we're going to give each other, as Brenda calls it, respectful feedback. But before I get into that, I want to get into just introductions. So Brenda, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm delighted for all of you, whether you're watching live or playback, to be joining us here. And by the way, if you are, drop a comment because it lets us know that the stream is working wherever it is that you're watching from. And it also lets us know that you are watching. What I do is I specialize in helping people get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. Yes, I said pie. It's going to be a theme for today, obviously. But I don't work for LinkedIn. I work for myself and I work for you. I work for my clients and for my community. I come from a corporate marketing background, so my approach on using and teaching LinkedIn is always from the perspective of who is your ideal target audience, what are your business or your career goals, and then really understanding the network, the platform, the algorithm, and how do you make the most sense out of using this crazy thing that we call LinkedIn. Developed a little bit of a niche specialty in company pages over the past few years, so I'm really delighted to be here with you, Bobby, today to discuss pages.
That's awesome. And I focus on helping people get clarity in their personal brand and then use that to build a thought leadership brand by, again, doing things like building meaningful relationships, having a digital content strategy, working on digital presence, where I focus on LinkedIn plus Twitter and social audio is the big three that I use, and helping people to get a better mindset, better confidence, better speaking, better storytelling, anything to help them get better. And then the whole idea is that if you have a strong thought leadership brand, you'll get better career opportunities, better leads for your business, double your revenue. You'll be able to get TED Talks, author book deals, and get media gigs. So that's really what it's all about. So we'll start with the first thing, which I'm gonna let Brenda lead this. The first thing that we always do, and then we'll go into the topic.
I'm not even going to have any guilt as I share this number with you today.
I can't wait.
As we do the live, it's October 12th. Wow, it's crazy. It's like almost halfway gone for the month. October 12th. Every month we get 250 page invitation credits, and our goal is always to bring visibility to the fact that you have, how many credits you have, and we tell each other what we have. I did issue all of them on like October 1st or 2nd. And I'm really actually happy because right now I have 177 out of 250 credits available, which tells me that, and I'm not good with the math, but I've got a bunch of people who accepted and I got the credits back. So I have actually 177 credits of the 250 that I issued that have been accepted, which means LinkedIn gave them back to me. So I'm not ashamed that I have 177. I'm proud of the fact that I got 177 people to accept them and send them back to me. How about you, Bobby?
So 73 said yes, right? Is that what you're saying? 73 said yes?
No, technically if I sent out 200,
if you sent 250 and there's 177 left, that means 73 said yes.
177 left, which means that 177 people had to accept them in order for me to get them back, right? Because I was trying to do the math.
Oh, on the other side. That's right. Oh, no, you're right. So 177 actually said yes.
The front side of it. So there's still probably whatever that other number is, 73 that are pending, if that math is right there. But 177 have accepted. So that's a good thing. I'm sending them out to the right people. I'm getting the credits back. So I'm happy about that.
Okay, so while I acknowledge that you're beating me with the number of acceptances to your page, I'm still winning in that I only have eight credits available because I invited all 250. And then there were some people who accepted, and I invited a few more. So now I'm at 8. So I'm just going to try to carve out a small win for myself here. Although I didn't get 170 people accepting my my invitation, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I might be mistaken, Bobby. So I'll throw that out there now that I'm like, that sounds really high. Because normally you send them out and you get like a handful back.
Yeah.
So maybe I didn't do all of them. Maybe I only did 50. Maybe I just made the whole thing up to make my feel.
I don't know. Either way, we're gonna celebrate your win. 177 people. That's fantastic. Okay, good. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually look at each other's pages with respect and love and harmony and peace, and and
Zen, all that,
a lot of Zen, right? And just and we're gonna just, I guess, ask questions. Is that the idea? Ask questions?
Yeah, I think like let's observe each other as fellow experts, if you will, of each other's pages, and let's look at the page, ask questions about why do you have this or what's this, maybe like ask questions and then maybe offer suggestions.
Sure.
Have you thought about this, for example?
Okay.
And I say, like we were joking in the pre-show about, I want to do this respectfully because I don't want, and I want to invite our audience, if they want to get some feedback on their pages at the end of the show, they can put their page link into chat and we can pull theirs up. But we want to do so in a respectful way. We're not going to pick your page apart and go, oh my gosh, that's awful. Why don't you have this? And that's terrible. What kind of a newbie are you? I don't want people to feel like we're going to attack them. I really want this to be constructive, candid feedback. And done so in a respectful way that you walk away, not feeling like we beat you up, but instead feeling like you got something. You got some free consulting.
And just a random question. I mean, I've often talked about LinkedIn how you should never comment on people's looks ever, unless they solicit feedback. Hey, check out my profile photo, or give me your feedback on this cover title, or whatever it might be. Then they're asking for it. But unsolicited feedback on your looks, I think, is a huge issue that people do, and I don't like it. Someone did it to me once on my company page and said, "Oh, Bobby, your hair looks terrible." I'm like, "Well, why would you even comment on my hair?" I don't understand that.
What was that? Yeah. What's interesting is sometimes I see people, and I'll do this even myself. Like if I put a new profile photo up, sometimes I'll put it in a post as well. And I'm like, here's my new profile photo, but I use it as like and this is why you should update it, and this is how often and whatnot. I use it as an educational tool. And sometimes I do get people replying back and they'll say, wow, great new photo. And what's interesting is I've realized, like, if a woman that I know says you look beautiful in your photo, I'm complimented. I feel like it's nice. But if it's a man that I know, and especially a man that I don't know well, that says, wow, you look beautiful in your photo, immediately I'm like, like my things go up, my radar goes up on that, and that will probably quickly result in a report and block, especially if I don't know him. If it was someone like you or Kenneth Lang or somebody else that I know, even then I don't think you would do that publicly. You won't be like, wow, that's a beautiful photo. You wouldn't say that. I think it might be gender.
I would probably say that. I mean, I would say that to my friends. Like I see the people I know say, oh, wow, your family looks beautiful, or you look awesome. I might say that, but only for people, people that I know personally, right?
Yeah, because other people can see it, and people might not know that you and I are friends, and that I would not take it the wrong way.
I see. I see. Yeah, and that kind of, my point was, we have different limitations on what we want. So like when someone gives me professional, so the other thing is, negative feedback on your looks, positive feedback on my looks. And someone say, Bobby, you're handsome. I'm cool with that. But again, but as someone like if some, again, context really matters. How you do it matters. But then the other thing, of course, is professional, positive, constructive feedback. So, for example, if someone said to me, hey, Bobby, here's a suggestion. You may want to add this to your video, or you may want to add to your banner photo. I'm okay with that. Now, if it's negative feedback, like that, they did it in a positive way. What I often will do is I'll say, hey, listen, may I offer some feedback on your content or your profile? And I just do that. And if they say yes, then I'll do it for people I don't know.
It's a really good point. I had someone message me just the other day, and I don't know if you've noticed it or not, or yet, not Bobby, but I deleted my photo out on my LinkedIn account intentionally. And then I created a blog saying you might have a photo on your LinkedIn, but nobody can see it because you have it set to second level connections, or people that are first level connections rather seeing it. And I have an away message set in my LinkedIn. So if you message me, you get this away message. And I had somebody reply back critiquing my away message. And it's somebody a new connection, and it was like one of those things, like she provided the feedback to be constructive and helpful, but the way that it was it was like, wow, I just met you and you're telling me these things already. So I think, yeah, we got to think about context, and we might think we're trying to be helpful, but I think sometimes like asking are you open to hearing some feedback?
Well, if someone sends me a spam sales pitch message, I will give them constructive feedback right away. I don't care if I know them or not. Absolutely, absolutely. I said, this stinks. Here's why. And I don't even know you, so I will do that. But on to the show.
Yes.
Let's do. I'm going to get you to look at my page first.
Okay.
She's cracked her knuckles.
Right. I'm getting them all ready. I'm all got stretched out here. Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna share my page here, and I always forget how to do that. And of course, I see Liz said, "Hey, thanks for being here, Liz." And anybody else wants to comment or share something, you totally can. Where the heck? Oh, here, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share my screen to here. Okay. All right, there we go. We can see that now, right? There's the company page.
Yep.
All right. What do you want? Where do you want to go start first?
Can you click on view as member, so we're not looking at your admin view, but we're looking at your public.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you can see right now in there your banner changes to the video, which is kind of a cool feature.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
cool.
I have a question, Bobby.
Yeah, your question.
You have your photo in the field that it's for the logo. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I mean, because it's a company page, it's focused entirely just on my business, which is just me, as opposed to, an event-based business or a larger brand. So for example, I have DYPB, which is Discovery Personal Brand, that logo's there. For Ray Allen Speaking Training, the logo's there. But this one is my page where I want people to have a personal connection. So I decided to put a photo and say, hey, welcome. That's what I did.
Awesome. Okay. Are you open to some feedback?
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing, eh? Let's do it.
So
lay it on me, Brenda.
Can you go back to your profile right now and go to your experience section?
My personal profile.
Your personal profile for you, Bobby, as an individual.
You
roll
got
down
it.
to your experience section.
Yeah, sure.
Give it a second for the companies to load. So, and then scroll down. Is it on your profile, or is it not linked on your profile?
It's not linked on my profile.
Oh, okay.
That's bad, right? yeah, that's bad.
Don't tell Brenda she's on the company page thing with you right now.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
actually know that was the case, but my point was, when we go to the experience section, we see next to each of our experiences the company logo, and look at how little and how tiny it is. And I'm just going to use, for example, the GMAT coach, GMAT, I think that's right. Veritas.
GMAT.
And you can see they have like an avatar instead of their full logo. Scroll down if you could to your education, because a lot of colleges and universities do the same thing. So for McGill University, it doesn't say McGill University. It has like a little avatar that's a part of their logo.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the logo is never independent of the company name. The logo always sits next to it. Or if you're on the company page, the logo is, right underneath it on there. And in this view, where we're getting people that are maybe potentially clicking off of our profile to come to our company page, it's always sitting next to the name of the company. So have you ever thought about using just an avatar instead of that picture of Bobby Umar, which you can see kind of on the page when it's in larger view, but when it's like squished down really tiny in the experience view, it would probably be really hard for us to see what that photo is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm open to that. I mean, I think that like something like this, you can see that it says Ray Allen, right? So I get that one. And then
kind of.
Probably,
I mean, my eyes are getting older here too.
These other ones are tiny, right? The other ones are super, super tiny, right? So
right. You can't read the text in them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm open to that. Okay, cool. That's cool. I like it. Let's go back here. Okay. Anything else?
Let's see. You got 10 employees. This is the big page in terms of the followers, right? The 22,000.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, and then click through. Go on your about section of the page,
and
then let's scroll down a little bit on here.
Yeah.
Good. So, are all of those services and keynote topics? Is everything still relevant in there?
Yeah, I just updated the keynote ones actually, so that's good. And the workshops are. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
No,
well, the one thing I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So one thing I'm trying to do is actually one of the things I'm switching to is this page is mostly for coaching online programs. So really, the keynote piece shouldn't be there. I mean, it's hard for me not to say because speaking is one of the main things I do. But for the most part, I would want to switch it to say, here are the things that I coach people on. So this is something I'm trying to transition to. My main profile on LinkedIn is for speaking and training, whereas this page is just for coaching online programs. So the programs are here, which is fine, but I think I should switch it to have more of the coaching stuff and how I coach people. I added this piece, so for example, but so this is something I added, and then I fixed this, but I didn't actually change this one. I just like, oh well, my keynotes are important to me, so let me leave them there.
Okay. Awesome. No, I think it's great that you, and part of this discussion is like bringing visibility to the fact that we do need to like periodically look at our about section, make sure they're accurate, and that we're intentional. If you have multiple pages like Bobby does, to make sure every page is intentional and focused on the topics at hand. I really like the bulleted list, Bobby. And for our audience, how did you get the green check marks? I know, but I'm curious if you could tell the audience, how did you get the green check marks?
Well, there's two ways. One way I used to do was there's an emoji page that has all the emojis. You just copy paste it. But what I do is I have a button here, which is the the Windows function period, which then opens up all the emojis that I want, and I just pick the one I want.
Yep, I use the same technique. The other workaround for people that are a little confused about that Windows button period, go on your mobile app to your company page and go into that about section, and then you'll be able to
from your phone.
Grab your emoji keyboard from your phone, whichever phone has loaded on there. So
yeah, Windows period function has been fantastic. Okay, cool. Anything else?
I'm poking around in my version of your page in another window over here. Looks like you're posting pretty regularly on the page. Are you scheduling posts, or how are you doing posting on here?
No, I don't schedule posts. I post them every day. But again, post like, look at this. Here's one 4 hours ago. Just no traction whatsoever. And then
it's chirping. Yeah.
It's frustrating, and then once in a while I've been trying. One of my strategies has been to, so here's the post I did. I tried to use a LinkedIn latest news about the Ukraine war, and then of course nothing. And then I did one personal post. Okay, there's a little bit there. Okay, did this one, nothing. But then when I did this one, it was again a LinkedIn news item, and as soon as it got featured on the website, I just got a ton of engagement.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It just went bananas. 53 comments, 7 shares. Same with the one I did for the Hurricane Ian. That was a one too, and this one took off because again there was great. It was a LinkedIn news thing that I was leveraging. So for me, the best way to get traction on my page is I've tried everything, but getting a LinkedIn news item that is relevant and trending, and they feature you on the page, all of a sudden I get droves of people come to my page.
Gotcha. So, and this comes back to, the company pages don't get a lot of traction. I like to say company pages are a destination, Bobby. Like we got to bring them there, because a lot of people just don't navigate to, nor are they served up our company page posts. So, different techniques, like you said, resharing a LinkedIn news item to your page, and then it gets featured. That brings people to your page. The other thing is tagging in yourself or tagging in other people that the post is relevant to. So how often do you tag in yourself on your company page posts here? Do you ever do that?
You mean my own personal profile into this?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I don't do that very often. That's a good idea. I haven't thought about that.
And it does the same thing as when you tag in other people. It pushes it out to your homepage feed. So a portion of the people that are following you on LinkedIn are going to see that post and maybe be aware of the fact that you do have another page for Bobby Umar on there.
Okay.
But going back to, that earlier point about the logo, if they see Bobby Umar, the photo they might be confused thinking you have two profiles. They may not know it's a page. So if you had, for example, what if it was a microphone icon with the letters B and U next to it, where it looked like it was more of a company page logo versus a photo?
Sure.
That might
I can make that in Canva.
Right. There you go. It designs itself, really, right?
It designs itself. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me stop now, because I want to make sure we get a chance to share with you too.
Was that feedback okay? Was that?
Yeah, that was great. In fact, you left me wanting more. Isn't that the way it should be?
Kind of. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of leave me wanting more, every time we have these calls, I keep thinking, oh man, I miss Brenda. I want to talk to her on a regular level, not the monthly thing that we do. I always forget to book a time. I say, hey, Brenda, let's just chat. But that was great. So, do you want me to continue to share my screen, or you want to share your screen? How do you want to do this?
Let me share can I share my screen?
You should be able to. If not,
I don't see a share screen enabled for me. Can you share your screen and pull up Meller Marketing?
Okay, fine. All right, fine. I'll share my screen. And again, if you're liking this conversation, by all means, share the love, ask questions, be
Mhm.
part of the conversation. You can always add stuff here. All right, so here we go. We're going to Miller Marketing. Here we go. Boom. Hello. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay, and this is my view. So there we go.
Yeah. Do you see
Oh,
the video?
wow.
Yep.
Okay, there's a video. There's Miller Marketing. And did you make this?
Originally I made it in Canva, and then when I started making a little bit of money from my business, I went to my friend who is a graphic designer, and I said, I kind of like it, but make it better. And she cleaned it up and polished it and made it a lot better.
Okay, got it, got it. And what's the difference between Melon Marketing business page and your personal profile, Brenda?
Brenda Meller is a person, an individual. Meller Marketing is an institution, which is my consulting business and consulting practice. And some people don't know that, how large Meller Marketing is. Is it an agency? Is it a team? So Meller Marketing is kind of the entity. I actually do have 2 interns working for me, and sometimes I work with consultants. But Brenda Meller is an individual. So yes, I am one and the same, but it's my business page versus my personal profile is how I explained it.
Okay, cool. I'm going to keep going here. Let's go to the About section. So here we go. Oh, wow, look at that. Beautiful. Oh, that's so fantastic. Webinar.
We both do the bolding of the title. I like how there's some similarities in the bulleted list and contact info, and
This is great. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You're 100% remote based on Metro Detroit. Okay. Okay, cool. Locations.
So that was something that LinkedIn had. I don't know if you remember during the pandemic, they had added in like some, pandemic messaging. And then now we have the ability in the back end of the page where we can like describe your workplace and do you have benefits and things like that. So if you're doing recruiting and whatnot, a lot of times I'll just use the feature because I'm an opportunistic marketer, and I'm like, if LinkedIn gives me a box, I want to fill it in. I want to see what it does, and then be able to show it to other people. So, that's how I'm using that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then you have your newsletter here, which is great. Mm-hmm. Curious about, because I haven't done a newsletter on my company page. I mean, this is different than your profile page newsletter. Mm-hmm. And is this something you're actively doing, or is it something you did to get going and get people to, subscribe?
Well, what's interesting is when you launch your first newsletter, LinkedIn pushes it out to everyone from your company page, everybody who's following your company page, and then they do have the ability to opt in. So I always tell people, Bobby, like people who come to your page and click on follow, they're essentially raising their hand. I'm interested in learning more about your content. If they also click on subscribe, it's like they put 2 hands up. Like I'm super interested. So I've got, 7,000 or so page followers, and I've got 2,023 subscribers for my newsletter. So I could probably, if I can figure out who those 2,000 people were, right now we can't, but if I could figure out who those people were, then I would probably know the people that are super engaged ambassadors or maybe even customers or potential customers of Meller Marketing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about launching my newsletter on my company page just to see, because there's so little engagement on the page. If I can even capture, let's say, 5,000 or 3,000 of the 20,000, that would be really nice, because right now, my contention is that LinkedIn does not show this to our people. They don't. Like, people subscribe to my company stuff, and it's the fact that I've had some posts that have had as low as 6 impressions, even those 22,000 people.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, you posting about that before.
Yeah. Me and Michelle were talking about that too, and I sent her a couple of images that I took of some posts where they went great on multiple other places, but here like it's crickets, and so it's very it's concerning to me. But let me just keep going to your thing. So videos. Yeah, I mean, Brenda, how can I possibly critique the ultimate amazing, awesome person?
You could maybe bring up.
Here we go. Okay. I have an idea now.
Yeah.
So your content's good. So you don't have a pinned post, and so I have one where I actually put the pinned post, which is basically my 3-minute personal story to encourage people not to ever feel lost and to find a path of purpose, and basically to encourage them to hire me for coaching. So that's something you could do. You could have this pinned post that just this is the Brenda Meller story, and this is the way I want to work with her.
Yeah, actually, the post that you see there, the Supercharge Your Company Page webinar, is a pinned post, because I was like, I usually do, but sometimes I'll remove the pinned post if the event has recently passed or if it's been out there for a while. So it doesn't show in your view that it's pinned, but in my admin view, I do see the word pinned next to it at the top.
Oh, okay. I just assumed you did it 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Unedited. I see. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Now let's see. There's your content. Oh my goodness, with that. I think the only, there we go. Yeah, your content's fine for me. The only critique I might have is, a lot of it is you and your events in your face, right? So,
Yeah.
Is there a way to not always do that? Is there a way to just, share stuff? And I understand from a marketing standpoint, and we're selling the Brenda Melon, we're selling the face, we're selling all that kind of stuff. But when I scroll quickly, I'm seeing lots of, here's my events and here's my face. And so it'd be nice to mix it up with stuff that's not like that.
I wonder too if I'm just scrolling through to change top to recent, if that changes the mix of it. Because I have been doing a mix of like featured questions on my page, but I think lately I haven't done as many. So I see what you're saying. Like when you're scrolling through, it's a lot of me and my photos and things like that. Whereas if I get down a little bit lower, 1 month, 2 months ago, I start to see some mix of some different, like I have a poll in there. I've got some.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see this one. Yeah, so now I'm getting, okay, she's doing other things too, as opposed to just selling herself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I do like to show featured questions. A lot of times, Bobby, when someone emails or direct messages me a question, instead of just responding to that person through email or through a DM, I'll put it as a post on my company page. And that helps me with creating new content and also driving people back to the page who might be looking for more LinkedIn tips. But I like the Q&A because it's like the FAQ approach to sharing content.
Okay, and cool. Otherwise, I think it's great. This is really good, and you have so many videos, which is fantastic. People like that. But that's my general take. I don't know what your cover banner looks like because it's only showing this, but I'm assuming it's gold. So
it's actually I posted about it. When I change my cover image, I usually post and I say, "Here's my cover image. I just updated it. How long has it been since you updated yours?" And it was 2 days ago that I did this. If you scroll into my activity feed on the page under the posts, you'll see it's like a 5 grid, and I've got a couple photos of myself. I'm promoting the upcoming webinar in there as well, and I showcase like what that image looks like.
Yeah, I saw a conversation on LinkedIn about how often do you change things, and I think for me, many things I was changing more frequently in the beginning, but once I got to a place where I felt really, really good about it, particularly my profile photo and particularly my banner, it had everything I need and nothing I wanted to add to it. So only when I want to add a new workshop or a new online program, whatever, then I'll do. But I know you like to put in new things all the time, but. I'm pretty happy with what I have, but I might change something. I might change the about section every once in a while.
Awesome. Yeah, I think everybody's got different preferences, and I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong way, on this too. I think it's you got to figure out what works best for you. You don't want it to feel like it's a chore, either. Oh, I've got to change my header again. Like we want to make sure we feel like it's representing us and our brand, and it fits with our timeline too.
Okay, cool. Look at this. I can get started on your cool master class, which is great. Yeah.
A lot of those. What's the feature called on the company page? The lead gen form.
Yeah, where's that? I don't even know. Like, where's the lead gen thing?
Exactly.
See
where the little light bulb is? Scroll down again. See where the little light bulb thing? It says need help getting. That's like technically the lead gen form.
Here we go. Boom. Okay.
It's crazy though, but you wouldn't know that that's what that is. It almost looks like spammy, like an ad that you're being served, doesn't it?
Well, I think the challenge though is that I know you're trying to market your course, but like the lead gen form is really complicated. And most people aren't even using it. But like, I want to get started doing what, right? So that's what. So for me, is like, if this is something that is this free?
It is.
Okay, so you don't say that because if you said free, Brenda, I'd be more likely to get started.
No, the masterclass is not free.
Okay, so I guess my point is get started. I either want to get started to book a call with you, or I want to get started to take something that you're offering that's free versus getting involved in having to pay for something. So I'm not. And you have this for two things. Right. Mm-hmm. So you're saying get started to fill the lead gen form, which is to then book them into the LinkedIn masterclass, because again, either make it really focused or make it really clear exactly why it would something, because the goal here is to make this be something that they're going to say, I want to get started right away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's my other feedback.
I'm going to change it right now because I've actually got and I love this feedback too, because it's like, I didn't even think about this. Like sometimes you need to get the free sample first before deciding whether or not to enroll or to work with the person.
Yeah,
So
like go ahead. Oh, I was going to say that. So, having some sort of free thing, like here's my free course on just getting the basics, whatever, 10 minutes. That's enough to get whet their appetite. And now they want to book. It's either that or it's a get started to book a free call, like, a consult for 15 minutes or 30 minutes that a lot of people do. I don't normally do that, but that's another thing that people do. It's something that people will want to get started on right now.
So try
Take
it again.
Take it for a quiz.
Try refreshing your page if you could. I just changed it.
Oh my God, Brenda. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Here we go. Brenda, she works fast. Whoa, she's still working remotely. Okay, cool. And she's still in the same about section. There you go. Can I get this? I want that. Right. Can I get that? That's good. The hard
part about that is now as a page admin, I've got to go back in and see who requested it. But you could go to mellermarketing.com/sales tips and you can do the download. If I click on get started, it takes you to the lead gen form. It doesn't take you to the web page where you get the form. You know what I mean? Get the checklist.
Yeah. So I think that's a bit of a challenge for sure. Okay. Yeah. We have some good insights here. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that was fun. Wasn't that fun?
That was it was mostly fun. Yes. There was some slight pain.
I've had fun and that was not.
There was some slight pain. You couldn't tell. There was a little bit of a twinge, like a tensing up in the back of my neck, like, oh God. But, no. it's all good. I think that's good. Now, if you're watching this live stream again on the replay, just share your question below. Tag me and Brenda. There's some great insights here in terms of how you can maximize your page, optimize your page. I already shared. The new thing I'm doing now with my company page is really I'm taking the time to, and I'm not even doing my profile page, just the company page. I'm taking the time to look at what's linked in this article that gets my attention and then just put it out there, share my thoughts, see if it hits. I've gotten 2 hits in the past month. Okay, so, 5 days a week. All right, that's great, but it's the only way that's getting some traction aside from the invites. As well, because with the traction, then I also get new followers of the page. Yep. So that's what I'm doing. But any last things you want to share or talk about?
Just on the flip side of the invitation credits, I just want to remind people it's not just about growing your page followers, but it's also like look and see who the people are that are following your page. And I'll do this at least once a week where I'll look and see if there's any people that are first level connections that started following my page. I might, message them or kind of initiate a dialogue if we haven't chatted in a while. Or more likely, if I find somebody who's a second or third level connection that matches my target audience criteria, I will invite them to connect. And I will mention, I was reviewing my page followers. I'm the face behind Meller Marketing. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And I've actually gotten some clients that way. So there's leads sitting in your follower list for you. Just don't forget about that. Don't just focus on getting the invitation credits out. Make sure you look at the back end to see if there's some leads in those follower lists for you.
I wanted to ask too, because I know that LinkedIn audio is now being launched on certain company pages. Have you checked to see? Because I don't have access to it.
I do. I applied for the beta, and I did like a very pseudo beta test the day that I got it. But I do have to schedule one out. I might do it with my job seeker group. Do it on Fridays, but I do need to test it a couple times during the beta test period. It's very similar to. You've been on the regular audio profile. It's very similar to that, but it's just hosted within a company page.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just curious because I don't have access yet, so I wanted to see if you did. Although I have to check all my company pages to see that, because sometimes 3 of them don't and 3 of them do. So it's like.
Well, this weird. I think is still it's a beta feature, so you had to apply to get access, or I'm not sure if it was apply or they invited you, one of the two. I can't remember, but I did ask them, or they asked me, one of the two, and I said sure, and they asked some questions to fill it out. So they're still in the beta, and I think it goes for a few months, and then they're going to incorporate any feedback that they've received, and then I think the plan is roll it out to all pages.
Sure.
So.
And the last thing is, what do you have coming up? Do you want to share some events or things you're doing?
Yeah, so the one thing I'm working on right now, I've got a webinar next Friday. This is supercharging your company page on LinkedIn. Friday, October 21st from 1:30 to 2:30. And in this session, I'm going to kind of walk you through some different ways of getting your page more active and turning it into a lead generation machine. So some of the things we talked about today, I'll be covering as well as additional tips on there as well.
That's amazing. Okay. And for me, two things I'm doing. On October 20th next week, I'm having my second LinkedIn Local Toronto meetup that's live and in person since the pandemic.
Wow.
So we did one in July. Another one's coming up next week. I believe it's Thursday. And the topic is cutting edge technology to change the game. So we have a couple of really amazing tech leaders on a panel. You get to meet me in person. If you're in the Toronto or Greater Toronto area in Canada, come on down, meet me. It'll be fun. I'll look much nicer than I do right now. The second thing I'm doing is I'm doing a workshop on LinkedIn, basically how to monetize your brand for leaders and business owners. That's going to be on October 26th. And those are probably the two big things I'm doing this month.
You just made me think of one more thing. Can I say one more thing I'm working on?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So this is like, I'm very excited because I've done a couple online courses and I'm looking at what's my next course. And I'm developing right now, it'll be an online course, LinkedIn for the Experience Rich. And I'm trying to figure out, will the first one be the Experience Rich job seeker, or it might be LinkedIn for the Experience Rich looking to develop their personal online brand. So what I mean by that is the people that are age 50 plus and who are apprehensive and really confused. LinkedIn can be very overwhelming, especially if you've not grown up with social media. And sometimes you find yourself thrown back into the job market and you didn't know you needed to look for a job, or you're at an director level and above, and you're trying to figure out how to use LinkedIn, and you don't want to look like you're informed about social media. You want to keep with the times, right? So I'm looking at two separate paths on that, but I'm really excited about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, awesome. And, again, we do this every second Wednesday of each month. So you can look for us next month for this if you want to tune in. And, of course, as always, the Thought Leadership Brand Club, which hosts this event, plus a bunch of other events online. We do LinkedIn Mastery twice a week on LinkedIn Audio. We do it 3 times a week on Clubhouse and once a week on Twitter Spaces. So check out the Thought Leadership Brand Club page. Follow Brenda Meller. Follow the Melon Marketing page. And pew.
Follow Bobby too, right?
Follow my stuff too.
Are you going to link your Bobby Umar page back to your profile now too?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, Brenda. Before
I thought maybe that was it was like intentionally you kept them separate, but
so terrible. I did not
oversight.
do that. So,
but you know what? It happens. You're not the only one too, Bobby. And a lot of times, we'll have created the page and not think about associating it. I mean, you're not the only one, so you might have helped somebody else watching. They may go, I didn't link my page to my profile either, so you might have.
Yeah. So thanks, Brenda. I appreciate that. And otherwise, have yourself a wonderful month, and hopefully we'll chat some more. Okay.
Sounds good, Bobby. Thank you so much. Okay. It was a pleasure.
Bye, everybody. We're going to end the stream in 5 seconds. Well, actually, 1 second.